Good morning and welcome to Channel 1 News. Today is December 6, 1941, and we are very excited that we will be interviewing Joseph Stalin later on in this broadcast. But first, here's Catherine with the weather.
Hi, I'm Catherine and I'll be reporting the weather today. Today there will be a high of -7 and a low of -28. Tomorrow there will be a high of -10 and a low of -31. We are not looking forward to that heat wave for Monday, but there will be a whopping high of 6 and a low of -19. Here's the forecast. And now back to you, Vasily, for some national news.
Thank you, Catherine. We've gotten word of a Japanese transmissions that was intercepted by the U.S. this morning. No one has yet been able to determine what it means. President Roosevelt today is expected to ask the Japanese emperor to join him in signing a peace treaty, but experts say this will fall on deaf ears. Experts are also very concerned of a surprise attack that Japan are going to launch on the U.S. Although the United States has been reluctant to join the war up till now, they might be forced to do so.
We have just gotten word that Stalin is under the building. We'll begin the interview shortly, as soon as it gets signed in.
Okay, great. Now we're going to take a quick commercial break. Are you running out of food? Are you unable to continue supporting your family? If so, join the Red Army. You will get food for all your service work and defend your homeland at the same time. Remember, food for fighting.
Let's start off by having you tell us a little bit about how your life has been so far.
Very well. I was born in 1879 in the Caucasus Mountains in Gori, Georgia. My mother always wanted me to become a priest. That did not happen. As a child, I was in my first seminary, Democratic Workers' Party, to become a professional revolutionary. Since then, I have had the great opportunity to meet many influential Russians, and they have seen what a true genius that I truly am. I was appointed General Secretary of the USSR by a man named Vladimir Lenin in 1922. Since then, I have led my country to great heights.
What do you mean by new heights, Stalin?
I thought you might ask me that. First, I rid my country of a terrible group of peasants, the kulaks. They failed to produce enough food for our country, and they didn't put Russia above their family. Then, I industrialized my country using my 5-year plan, which called for huge increases in the production of coal, iron, and electricity. I even purged all the infiltrators in my army so that there are no traitors among my men. Let's just say that I fouled the smelly rats and exterminated them.
Can you talk a bit about the pact you signed with Adolf Hitler?
Yes, certainly. About 2 years ago, we met and discussed a pact which agreed that we would not invade each other's nations. Hitler recently, in June to be accurate, began pushing his way towards Moscow. I went into planning for several days and came up with a brilliant plan to destroy his forces. I plan on defeating Hitler's army with relative ease. He will regret the day he ever broke his word to me, Joseph Stalin.
Right now, what nations are you aligned with in the war?
Right now we are aligned with Great Britain. We will easily destroy the Germans and all of their allies. Any ally of Germany is most certainly an enemy of Russia.
Do you think the United States will join us in the fight against Nazi Germany?
I do not know. However, I am confident that if they do, we will not really need their help. Russia is a huge power and we are definitely capable of destroying the Nazis on our own with ease.
Tell me how you managed to build such a superb army, your Red Army.
Well, they are taught that in Joseph's army, you never retreat. You always push forward with courage and bravery. There is no such thing as a quitter in my Red Army.
How do you ensure that your soldiers will always follow your rule in an actual battle?
Well, I place a second line of soldiers behind the soldiers in the first line. When a weak soldier from the first line decides he wants to retreat, I have ordered my second line of soldiers to immediately shoot that person. In my army, it takes much more courage to retreat than it does to advance.
Wow, okay. So can you tell me a little bit about how many soldiers you've lost so far?
I am uncertain, but any man who died defending Russia is truly a brave soldier.
Can you tell me a little bit about your family? I've recently heard that your son Yakov was captured by the German army.
Well, I recently got word that he was captured by the Germans.
Have you been successful in trying to negotiate?
No. The Germans offered me the release of my son in exchange for the release of any German officer, but I quickly turned them down. Yakov is a betrayer. Any Russian soldier captured by the Germans is a betrayer, no matter who they are.
While we're on the topic of your family, would you mind telling me about your second wife? Where is she?
Well, she was a very weak-minded woman. She took her life back in 1933.
Oh, I'm really sorry to hear that news.
Thank you.
Is it true that earlier this year you met with the Roosevelt administration to ask for their assistance?
Yes, that is true. I did ask for some mild assistance, but do not ever believe that Joseph Stalin's army needs the help of any other nation to fight off the Germans. We are completely capable of doing this on our own.
Can you share the status of the German invasion at this point?
In the past month alone, we have pushed the Germans back almost 150 miles to Smolensk. We have weakened the German soldiers, and we shall continue pounding at them until there is not one German soldier left in our country.
Unfortunately, our time has run out. Thank you, Mr. Stalin, for coming and sharing your time with us.
Are you tired of eating soggy potatoes? If you answered yes to this question, you need to buy Grandma's potatoes. You can eat them on the go or at home. You can eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, or even for a midnight snack. Buy one 5-pound bag and get one free while supplies last. This is a regular potato. This is Grandma's potato.
So now we are briefly going to interview some people and find out how the war is affecting them. We are switching to Catherine.
Here's someone I'll ask him a few questions. So, what's your opinion of Stalin?
Stalin is a good leader. He leads the USSR to great heights, and he continues to do so. I can only hope that someone as determined as him can rule Russia when he's finally gone.
I see. So, how has the war affected you and your family?
My brother was recruited into the Red Army last year, against his will. I have not heard of him since then, and I probably won't. And my house was destroyed by the Germans when they were making their way into Russia. My family and I are working hard to make a new one at this point.
Well, thank you for your time. I hope your house building goes well.
Thank you.
So, how do you feel about Joseph Stalin's rule of Russia?
Well, I think he's doing a pretty good job. He was able to repel the Germans. Then Hitler broke his pact, and that was very good for us.
So, how's the war effort played a part in your fight?
Well, when the Germans were marching towards our capital, they destroyed my family's home, and there was nothing we could do about it. And I am very grateful to have a leader who can put his foot down when absolutely he has to. My father was drafted into the Red Army several years ago, and like many others whose family members have been drafted, I've heard no news of him. I don't expect to ever hear from him again. That's a very common thing among members who are in the Red Army. Stalin himself makes it very clear that anyone that deserts the Red Army will be hunted down and killed.
Sorry to hear about that. Thanks for taking the time for this interview. Back to you, Vasily, in the newsroom.
As that concludes Saturday morning broadcast, joining us, and we hope you learned something from our interview with Stalin. And we really hope you join us again at 10 o'clock tonight. I am Vasily Stein, Russia's one and only newscaster.